I am at the Gulf of Mexico, and because I'm a professional nursing tutor, it makes me think about weird things, like the difference in drowning in salt water versus fresh water, like a swimming pool. As a nursing student, you need to know the differences. And it all comes down to your foundational information, like you can learn in step 1 of my Silver Bullet study system. Before you can really understand the differences, you have to understand 1, osmosis. This is how water follows stuff. It wants to dilute the stuff to kind of make it evenly distributed. Spoiler alert, salt water has a lot of stuff in it, whereas fresh water does not. The second thing you really need to know is how the air and the gas exchange happens in the lungs. This is your basic anatomy and physiology of the respiratory system. You need to know about the alveoli and how the capillaries that line the alveoli do their gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide over that very thin, semi-permeable membrane. Once you know that, you can move on to step 2 of the Silver Bullet study system, which is what's changed or broken. With saltwater drowning, when you inhale a lot of salt water, that's going to be what changes in step 2. And then we can move on to step 3, which is predicting the symptoms. You don't even have to look in your textbook yet, which is going to save you a lot of reading time, by the way. So when you inhale a lot of salt water, you have kind of like a hypertonic solution in your lungs compared to your blood. This is going to cause osmosis to move in the direction from your bloodstream across the semi-permeable membrane in the alveoli into the alveoli. This basically adds insult to injury in a drowning accident, because now you're going to have the fluid that you swallowed from the seawater, plus you're going to have fluid that is coming out of your body into your lungs. And so both sides are going to have to be addressed when you move on to step 4, which is nursing actions, medical care. What are you going to do to take care of this problem and try to save the patient? Now let's jump back to step 2 and talk about fresh water. So now we have the same foundational information for both of these topics because they're very similar, but with step 2, what's changing or what's broken is now we're inhaling a lot of fresh water. Now this is essentially a hypotonic solution compared to our blood. Basically, now there's more stuff in the blood than there is in the alveoli with the fresh water. And so the water in the fresh water is going to cross the semi-permeable membrane in the direction of the blood. This is bad news because when the blood becomes more hypotonic, then it's going to try to send more osmosis happening into the blood cells to try to balance it and maintain homeostasis. This causes the red blood cells to expand like a balloon. And eventually, yes, they can pop and die. Which is one of the reasons why in step 3, cardiac arrest can happen pretty quickly after freshwater drowning in many cases, because the heart is no longer getting the oxygen it needs because the red blood cells are dying. And of course, the red blood cells are what's carrying the oxygen. Which is why when you get to step 4, with the medical care and the nursing care with freshwater drowning, you still need to make sure that you're addressing both the actual drowning, but also the effects that happen on the body afterwards. You can learn the Silver Bullet study system for free in the link in my bio. Just have to put your email in, and then I'll send you the link for how to access it. It's 20 minutes. Now I'm going to go play with my kids.